What's up? What's up? How's it going, people? How did your Bina raids go? It's been a hot minute, and now we are preparing again for a new total assault. It's only been a few while, but now we are coming up again with a new raid. Now this time around, it's a blue armor type enemy. It's Shirokuro. But here on this guide, at least I can tell you what you can do to prepare for this battle. Right now, we have very limited units for Mystic sources. One would be Azuna, two would be Haruna, three would be Chise, and then the last one that's coming up is Izuna. Good thing for us, we actually have resources for them where we can actually farm for them, even if we don't have them. I would personally suggest to just farm them so that like when you actually get them, you would be able to increase their stars immediately. But you can also use this method to just unlock them if you somehow just are unlucky and getting them. First things first is Haruna. Haruna is actually you can actually get her shards in hard 8-3. This is really recommended. Even if you don't have her, just try to farm her shards regardless. This will allow you to increase her stars when you actually do get her, or if you're just super unlucky, you can use this to actually eventually unlock her over time. Obviously, if you start farming now, you're not going to be able to unlock it by the time of the next raid that's coming up, but still, it's still a really good way to get her, and she's still good regardless, even if it's not this particular raid. In future raids she's gonna be good as well, and also in PvP she's really good with the prevalence of Tsubaki, so it's a good way to start now. And then there's also chapter 12.3 that has her. There's also some Asuna nodes that are spread around in the other hard nodes, and this is also a good way to increase Asuna's stars because she will also be useful in the Shirokuro raid, especially when we don't have a lot of mystic units right now. So what about Chise? Chise is also another unit, and we are actually gonna be able to unlock Chise later down the road with the upcoming event. The upcoming event will have Chise's shards as a point reward. So for those who still don't have her and don't want to wait for pulling for her, then you can also unlock her using that event. Okay, but now let's say we don't really have enough time to get all these upgrades on the mystics. Who else are going to be useful in this raid? As usual, Hibiki is gonna be a top unit that's gonna be very useful for this raid. Especially the main reason is really is because her sub skill is going to be a lot helpful for just increasing the DPS. Same with Karen, she will also be useful because of that sub skill that will increase the attack. However, personally, I would rather use Kotama instead of Karen. If you can push your Kotama to 3-star, then with Kotama 3-star, you will be able to also unlock her passive that does similarly. It increases attack as well, but also the EX skill that will be very useful for the raid. Now, if you don't have any other mystic units, naturally the second best thing are the yellow / penetration attackers, and that would be Iori. Iori is a very useful unit that in this raid as just a main DPS. Maki is also going to be very useful because she is very good at just attacking a single type of boss, and she has a defense down that will also help, and also just DPS as well. If you don't have anyone else to slot in, but you have other units that might be helpful on DPS, again, Akane, as usual, she provides defense down, so she would be really useful for this battle as well. Now, one thing that's going to be very unique or special on this raid is moving your units. There are some there's two different strategies that most people are probably going to use. One is to just pure DPS, but usually that requires you to have a lot of gears, a lot of equipments, and you know, tier 4 gears and high levels. There's also another way where you can use healers or repositional units, and these repositional units can actually allow you to move around the map because there's gonna be some obstacles around the map that will kind of damage you. However, you can use their repositional skills to move your units around and avoid those obstacles. Fuka is one of them. She will be able to drop an item and then all the allies will run towards it. Serena is on a lesser extent, but it is a low cost, and all you need is to just move one ally typically on that one. Sometimes you can also just tank. If you do not have any Hibiki, Hana is a good substitute to Hibiki, except you have to unlock her Mystic as for 3 stars, but at 3 stars she will also have similar sub skills that will buff the team. This is usually called the poor man's Hibiki as well, but she also has heals, so she's a good mix of between the two if you don't have one. Saya is also a good candidate as kind of a sub because she also has a sub skill that increases crit instead of crit damage. In general, crit damage is a lot better than just crit, but just having more crit is also helpful. You probably won't really use her EX skill on the actual boss, however just her being there will increase the crit rate. She is kind of on the lower priority though, but still a good if you don't have anyone else. As a side note, you can also use Kotori. Kotori also has similar to what Fuka does, where she has a skill that will drop an item that your allies can run into to get some barrier. It's in a similar regard, and this is also good if you don't have any other piercing units that you could use. But other than that, anything else that would be in between would be anyone that are piercing. Nonomi could be used, Junko could be used, and all these other piercing units that you probably have upgraded during Bina raid. They are useful, especially if you need to fill up some units where you don't have mystic units. Other than that, regarding how to prepare else on the battle is just to try to farm as much as you can to push your units to have their tier 4 gear, especially their offensive stats, because these have like attack percent, crit damage, and crit rate and crit damage, and these are going to be very, very important in terms of pushing your damage up. But yeah, other than that, it's very straightforward team building. If you have Kotama, Hibiki, and then any other mystic units, and then if you don't have anyone else, just substitute them with any yellow. It's a very, very straightforward raid. There's gonna be you're gonna be jumping around with other healers when necessary, or if your units cannot survive them enough. For example, if they don't have enough HP or gears, then a healer may be necessary. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. If you guys like my content, feel free to just like or comment or subscribe. And I usually stream on Twitch. You guys can find me at twitch.tv/KaiJLV. I typically stream Blue Archive and many other mobile games out there. If you guys like to hang out, feel free to stop by. And yeah, I will see you guys later.